One case from history which has gained quite a lot of recognition is that of a mysterious young man who would come to be known as Kaspar Hauser. The setting of this account is Nuremberg, Germany, where on 26th May 1828, a young man in his teens who no one recognized suddenly appeared wandering the streets. The seemingly bewildered, confused boy was found to be carrying in his trembling hand a letter addressed to a Captain von Wessenig, who was the captain of the 4th Squadron of the 6th Cavalry Regiment. The unknown author of the letter stated that the boy was attained as an infant, taken in, educated at home, and had never left the confines of the house. The letter ended with the statement that the boy wished to be a cavalryman, that his father had been a cavalryman, and Wessenig was given the ultimatum to either take him or to hang him. Another short letter was found that seemed to be from the mother, who called the boy Kaspar and claimed that his true father had been a cavalryman who had died for reasons unspecified. Oddly, both letters seemed to be written in the exact same handwriting. Questions posed to the boy, and indeed all attempts to communicate with him, proved to be frustratingly futile, as the only thing he would say was, "I want to be a cavalryman, as my father was," or "horse," repeated over and over again. When pressed on anything, he would simply say, "Don't know." He refused to eat or drink anything except bread and water. He also showed only the most remedial awareness of common everyday rituals, such as using money or basic grooming and social skills. And he was only able to read to very limited degree. The only useful information he seemed to be able to provide was his full name in a childish scrawl on a piece of paper, Kaspar Hauser. Other than that, no one had any idea of who he really was or where he had come from. He was a total enigma. The first theory as to Caspar's origin was that he was some sort of a feral child raised among animals out in the wilderness, which would explain his lack of social awareness and limited communication skills. However, as Caspar began to gain the ability to more fully express himself, more light began to be shed upon his mysterious background. It described how he had essentially been raised in a dungeon, a tiny darkened cell, not even large enough to stand in which he had lived totally alone and slept on a straw bed. His meals were claimed to have been bread and water left for him each morning. He claimed that not once in all of his years growing up did he ever meet his mysterious caretaker, or even another human being for that matter. The boy had never learned to talk or even walk, and had lived his whole life hunched over in that cramped dank cell with only a few small wooden toys to keep him company. It was not until right before he was released that he had met another person for the first time, who he claimed was a man who did not show his face and had taught him to write his name, stand, and walk. The enigmatic stranger also had apparently taught Caspar his first words by phonetic repetition and rote memory, "I want to be a cavalryman, as my father was," the actual meaning of which he could not comprehend at the time. Such a strange yet undeniably intriguing story soon circulated among the media, and before long, Kaspar Hauser was a big news all over the world, with people everywhere wondering just who he was. At the time, theories were already swirling, claiming that he was everything from royalty to a flat out liar. In the meantime, Caspar was taken into care of a schoolmaster and philosopher by the name of Friedrich Daumer, who further educated him in a wide variety of subjects. Over time, Caspar adjusted to his new life, but no one was any closer to understanding his murky origins. Indeed, a series of bizarre occurrences would only serve to deepen the mystery surrounding him. On October 17, 1829, Caspar was found in a cellar with a cut on his forehead after he had failed to show up for his usual lunch. The visibly shaken boy claimed that he had been attacked by a man in a hood, who had sounded exactly like the man who had brought him to the Nuremberg and who had threatened him before cutting him with a knife and fleeing. Caspar then claimed that he had escaped down into the cellar to hide, leaving a trail of blood along the floor as he did so. In the wake of the mysterious attack, Caspar was moved into the care of the municipal authority by the name Johann Biberback for his own safety. It was never found out for certain just who had attacked him, or indeed whether he had merely inflicted the wound on himself. The move would not stop the strange string of events. After Caspar had settled into Biberback's house, yet another odd incident occurred. When on 3rd April 1830, there was a sudden gunshot that rang out from his room. Caspar was found to be bleeding from a gash on the side of his head, and when pressed on what had happened, he claimed that he had been climbing up on a chair to reach some books and had accidentally knocked down a gun hanging on the wall, which had then gone off. Oddly, the cut on his head did not seem have been consistent with a gunshot wound. Caspar was moved yet again, this time to the house of his next patron, a landowner named Baron von Tuscher. During this time, there were beginning weird rumors that Caspar was rather unpleasant, abrasive person to be around. In fact, both Biberback and Tuscher openly complained that the boy was disagreeable and habitual liar and extremely vain. Claims such as these started to eat away at the boy's credibility, and there was increasing speculation that he had faked the knife attack and gunshot, perhaps in order to manipulate others into feeling sorry for him. With doubt cast on the veracity of his story and his credibility unraveling even as speculation boiled on where he had come from or even who was Caspar, would meet an end that was every bit as mysterious as his life had been. On 14th December 1833, Hauser came home with a deep wound in his chest and claimed that he had been attacked by a knife-wielding man in Ansbach court garden. An investigation would turn up a purse lying in the garden which contained a cryptic note scrawled on a piece of paper which was written in mirror writing in German. It has never been conclusively determined what the message means, who wrote the note, or what role they had to play in Caspar's fate. Kaspar Hauser would die of the grievous knife wound on December 17, 1833. His death as every bit as weird, as mysterious as his life had been. Leaving behind the strange note and far from questions than he had ever been able to answer. The headstone of his grave, located in the city cemetery of Ansbach, is testament to his enigmatic origins and life. Reading, "Here lies Kaspar Hauser, riddle of this time. His birth was unknown, his death mysterious." 1833. Indeed, the mystery and speculation surrounding the life and death of Kaspar Hauser had shown little sign of warning in the subsequent years, and he has spawned numerous theories about who he could have been and who was the responsible for his death. So that's it for the today's episode. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think about Kaspar Hauser? Do you know any theories related to it? Comment down below. And also, if you are new to our channel, please consider to subscribe our channel by hitting that red button. Till then, take care.